All right, all right, all right, all right. Oh, no, I did not. Oh, no, I did not. 1 minute. I got to plug up my computer. Not my computer, but my laptop. And I thought I. All right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah, coming with a message. And this message is regarding parables. The parables that were set in the Old Test, not the Old, the New Testament. And as I went through this a couple of weeks ago, and when I say I went through it, is because something was dealing with me on the parables. What was the purpose? If it, what was the purpose of the parable? I remember Yeshua saying something to the disciples that the parables was for the multitude, but the word was given unto them because they was confused. They was wondering what was this Yeshua was breaking down. What was this that you are saying? What is this you're talking about? And that was regarding the parables. So the parables, one would think that it was for the multitude, but the word was for the 12 disciples. So that's what he was explaining to the disciples. But as a young person, a young teenager, I heard that blessed is the one that can understand the both, meaning the word and the parable. Why? Because there's a greater blessing in knowing both the what he was speaking to the multitude and what he was speaking to the disciples. And I, throughout my living, have found that to be so true. I think that there's a lot of things in the parables that will cause one to come to a form of awakening. I really do. I think the parables hold something that's very powerful. And the beauty of the parables to me has always been something beautiful about the parables. And a lot of people don't talk about it, nor will they talk about it, nor will they teach it, nor will they preach it, because they don't understand it themselves. You see, they just think he just something is just there and just there. But I like the idea that the 12 disciples were special. He gave them the word. And when you hear the word, if he's giving them the word, that means straight from the horse's mouth, they received it. But the multitude was given parables. But the parables come from the kingdom. That's what was so not strange, but holds a mystery. The parables holds a lot of things within it to where I could understand the multitude not really getting it because the Ruach hadn't come during the time. They hadn't received the Ruach. The disciples were traveling with Yeshua, and the multitude, he says, hearing they cannot hear, and seeing they cannot see. But to you is given the word. He was telling that to the disciples. So I've learned something about it. The parables is and was from the kingdom. letting you know how the kingdom set it up on the earth in a way that you can get it. If you're down here on the earth, you can get the understanding of the parables, okay? But it's not, you can't get it without the Ruach HaKodesh. So when the disciples came to Yeshua and was asking him, what was it he was giving the multitude? He said, I give them parables, for seeing they see not, and hearing they hear not. But to you, I give you the word. Now, the disciples, did they understand the word when Yeshua was giving it to them? No, they didn't understand none of it, nor did they believe the word. Why? Because they didn't have the Ruach HaKodesh. The Ruach was not in them. Okay. Now, after Yeshua ascended and the Ruach came down in the day of Pentecost upon Peter and the other disciples, guess what? Everything Yeshua taught them came back to them. So you see, even the word, they didn't understand. But yet they questioned him about, well, what's this you giving them? What is this you saying to them? It's different than what you saying to us. What difference does it make, disciples? You couldn't understand it no more than they could understand it. He giving you the word and you couldn't understand. He giving them parables and they couldn't understand. So why you ask a question? Because they was curious to what was he saying that was different than what he was saying to them. But I come today to say to you, blessed is he that can understand the word and the parable. You see? And I believe the only one that can really understand the word and the parable is those that holds the Holy Spirit within them. They are the only one that can receive the parables and the word. Okay? So I want to go into, let me see which one I want to start off with, because I got a lot of, I think, pretty good ones here. I'd like to start off with Matthew 25 and verse 1. In Matthew chapter 25, I want to give you a little bit of how it's a blessing to understand both the word and the parables. Back then, they didn't understand neither nor until the day of Pentecost, when the Ruach came. So when people are out here telling you that they understand, they got the Ruach, or they understand the Bible, they understand spiritual things, and they don't. This is a living witness. What I'm about to teach is going to show you this is why they don't understand. It's because today goes back to like yesterday. People don't understand the parables. Because I'm sitting here saying, but Father, the parable really shows a lot of the mystery. He said, yeah, Deborah, it does. So that's why they can't get it. Because even in the parables, those who blessed is the one. You remember when he told Thomas? Thomas said he wanted to see. He said, blessed is he that see and believe. But greater blessing is he that have not seen, but yet believe. Showing him there's a different level of people that's going to have a greater belief or greater believing in him without seeing. But yet they're going to believe. But Thomas, he didn't believe. When Yeshua came back, he didn't believe. But until he seen the piercing of Yeshua, did he believe? But it took him to see it before he believed. And Yeshua said, blessed is he that see and believe. But greater blessing is he that see it not, but yet believe. So that's kind of remind me of the parables as well. It is a greater blessing for he that not just know, not for he that understands the word, but he that understands the parables. So what I understand now is why people are speaking today about cutting out the New Testament. Many people have already cut out the New Testament. Many people do not believe the New Testament. You know why? They don't understand the parables. They don't understand Yeshua's mission. You see, they don't understand the death, burial, or resurrection. If we can cut out the new, then that'll cut out what? Salvation, redeeming, the power. It cuts out everything. And that's the whole idea of why people get caught up into that. Because they think that cutting out certain things, then they can actually erase a whole bunch of things that people are missing. But thanks be to the Most High Yah, who say, hold up, just tarry, I'm coming. But where I'm coming, I'm going to abide there. And when I abide there, I shall teach you all things. But first and foremost, I want you to know the power is going to come with me. And I'm going to comfort you. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to reveal to you. I'm going to show you things to come. I'm going to bring things back to your remembrance. Just hold up. I'm coming. And I stand today to say to you all, there is so much in the parables that shine light on everything that ever exists on the face of the earth. It brings a lot of life to it. Why? Because the parables, which I didn't get when I was younger, I looked at it as, okay, like the disciples. What is this you teaching disciples versus the multitude? But Sister Deborah was on the parables, y'all, because I heard something. Let's go. Let's start with, I'm going to show you what I heard. Okay, let's start with Matthew chapter 25. In Matthew chapter 25, this is what's missing. Okay, this is really what is missing. Okay. Okay. In Matthew's, no, we might not go to Matthew's. No, we can't go to Matthew's right now. That's going to have to be one of the other ones. We will have to come back to Matthew's because it's going to kind of level everything off. Let's go to Matthew's. Let's go to Matthew's chapter 18. Let's try there. Matthew's chapter 18 and verse 21. Matthew's chapter 18 and verse 21. We're going to start with verse 21 and we're going to go down to 23. Okay. Now this is another one. I need to highlight these here so I won't be running into these so we have to skip that one. Those are the last ones. I don't know why I'm pulling the last. Okay. So let's go 18 and verse 12. Let's try that. And verse. Okay. I don't know what is. Let me make sure I get this here. Let me start over here. I'm gonna have to. Y'all gonna have to bear with me. I got all my verses, but I got them circled which one I want to start with. But it looks like I'm running up on an issue here. Let me try Matthew's chapter. Let me go there first before I tell you. I'm going to go to Matthew's chapter 13. Let's go to Matthew's chapter 13. Let's go to Matthew's chapter 13. Okay. In Matthew's chapter 13, it reads, the same day when Yeshua out of the house and sat, wait a minute, the same day went Yeshua out of the house and sat by the seaside. Verse 2, a great multitude, there go a multitude, okay, a great multitude, and you're talking about thousands of people, were gathering together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. So he was bombarded with the great multitude as he sat on the seaside. So he decided to go up in the ship and sit. And the whole multitude, they stood on the seashore. Okay. They stood on the shore. Verse 3. And he spake many things. Notice he was saying many things to them. Many things. Okay. Unto them in parables. This is the reason why today you have all these different religions and denominations. Because when they go into the book, they go into this book without the Ruach. That's the problem. People want to go into this book, read, teach, preach, minister, evangelize. They want to be a pastor. They want to be a priest. They want to be a bishop. They want to be a prophet. They want to be a prophetess. They want to be a Maureen, a seer, and a watchman. They want to be all these things from that book level itself. But what they do not know and do not understand, you cannot be those individual who's carrying the light and spirit and truth without the Ruach HaKodesh. Without it. Because in the New Testament, it speaks of, I'm going to just shoot out a good 40 or maybe more parables. Now, he said, greater is he that understand the word and the parables. Who is he saying that to? He's saying it to the individuals. Listen to what he's saying. He's saying it to the individuals who's carrying the Ruach HaKodesh. He's not talking to individuals who think that they and say that they are priests or pastors or bishops or apostles or what else? Teachers, evangelists, Maureen, seers, watchmen, prophets, prophetess. No. When the disciple approached him, they asked him, what is this that you're giving the multitude? He said, I'm giving them parables. In seeing they cannot see, hearing they cannot hear. But I give you the word. And during the time he was giving them the word, they still could not understand. Why? Because what you all today is totally deceived, thinking you can get it without the Ruach living in you. So here in Matthew chapter 13, you got Yeshua out of the house and he sat by the seaside, and a great multitude gathered together unto him. He took off and went into the ship, into the boat, into the ship, it says, and sat. And the whole multitude stood on the shore. But this is what he said. Verse 3. And he spake many things unto them in parables. You guys, I knew the parables when I was a teenager. I fully understood it. Not because I was a teenager and I was young, but because the Ruach had been in me all that time to teach me the parables. Now listen to what he says. And he spoke many things unto them in parables, saying, behold, a sower went out to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Verse 5. Some fell upon a stony place where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up because they had no deepness in the earth. Now, I'm sitting back today, can look at this and say, wait a minute now. How is it something so powerful as this? Guess what this is? Guess what this parable is? The kingdom. It's a parable of the kingdom. Because my question to him was, who is this? Whoever this sower is, he needs to be fired. That's how silly I was. I'm still silly, but I'm just saying. He needs to be, Father Yah, he needs to be fired. Who is this sower? Because he's sowing the seeds in all the wrong places. So at that moment, when I go after questions like that, and I approach situations like that, I'm strictly going to the throne with it. And the throne gonna bounce right back on me. And he did. He said, well, Deborah, I'm the sower. So what is he telling me? When he telling me he's the sower, what is he telling me? This parable is coming from the kingdom. Strictly from the throne of Yah. Showing you an example of how the kingdom prepared the angels on the earth. He set them up as seeds. And only he himself can give life to those seeds. So what they don't understand, I realized that, but I didn't know that people don't even understand the parables. Because if they understood the parables, they'll leave the New Testament alone. And what do you mean by the New Testament alone, Deborah? Because the New Testament carries parables of the kingdom. And see, when the disciples were back in the days when Yeshua was walking with them, they didn't like the idea of he was teaching parables because they knew not what it meant. They didn't even know what the word meant that he was speaking to them. So they was like cuckoo clock, like Sister Deborah was, and he is. You see? So therefore, the parables is so, I would have never thought it was meant, but I guess it is. It is meant to be mystery for those who have spirit and truth, who have the light. Because the parables I understood and I understand. And if anything we need to be teaching today is the light of the parables, because the parables is actually informing us of the kingdom. Let's continue. Here in this parable in Matthew chapter 13 and verse, what was that? Matthew 13 and verse, what verse was that? Matthew chapter 13, and I started with verse 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, and 6. This was heavens telling you how he sent the angels down, y'all. Let me go and throw it out to you. Let's break it down. Let's go there. And that's why I say, think y'all. I'm speaking to you all, and I'm saying the same thing. Y'all missed it. The ball is fully dropped. Okay. Notice verse 3, it says, and he spoke many things. Notice it says many things unto them in parables. Behold, a sower, only one, went forth to sow. What was he sowing? And when he sowed some seeds, you notice his seeds, fell by the wayside. He's sowing seeds. What is the seeds representing? Those are angels, y'all, from the kingdom. All of us was once angels. Not once. That's what we're going to return back as. But in verse 4, it tells you that it was one sower. And he was sowing seeds. The seeds are angels. And he's showing you where the angels land. Seeds fell by the wayside, and fowls came and devoured them. Verse 5, some fell by the stony places. Who is that? The seeds, where they had not much earth. Okay? And forthwith they sprung up. Who is they? The seeds sprung up because they had no deepness of the earth. Verse 6, and when the sun was up, they were scorched. And because they had no root, they withered. Verse 7, and some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. Wait a minute, hold up. Who is the sower? The Father. Who is the seeds? The angels. The seeds are angels. But all the angels came down from the kingdom as seeds. Their place of destiny was already in them. Blessed is he that can understand not just the word, but the parables. Understand this, y'all. The parables is Yah's word put in a form for only those that can see. That's it. It's not, these parables is not for everybody. You can't take these parables and live by them and think by them and feel by them or preach by them. Are they doing it? They trying their best. But they cannot reach kingdom. Why they can't reach the kingdom level is because they breaking these parables down in an earthly level, a worldly level. First and foremost, the multitude was so great he had to move himself into the ship. He spoke to them from the ship about a sower. Now, he's not telling you, now this is Yeshua. Yeshua is not saying that I'm the sower. He says in verse 3, behold means look, a sower went out to sow. He's giving you the best view of the kingdom on the earth. He's telling you about a sower who had the ability to take the seeds and place them in areas that he chose. Knowing that the place the seeds were embedded was not a place where they can survive. So I want to say to you all, When you go into the study guide, make sure you understand that you can't understand with your fleshly understanding. You can understand only with the spiritual understanding, which will abide in you and you in him, the Ruach HaKodesh. Now, right here, the Father gave you the whole overall of the seeds. Now, watch this. Some would say they didn't have a chance. What did those seeds come down? They came down with the breath of life. So they had, they had exactly, when they came into the earth, they had exactly what Adam had. Everything was given to him. Adam had everything, but he chose the nothing because his spirit come down to choose the side of the darkness versus the side of life. It was in his spirit, but it did not make him nothing but still yet perfect. Yah did that. Remember, he created everything for Adam. He gave him everything. Everything Adam had was perfect. And then he was placed to make a choice, not a choice that he made as if he had the power to, but what his spirit chose because what was in him. The same way as the seeds. They were also given as Adam. But when they come down to the earth, their true identity, it's the way they would head because it's already in them. So when the sower sowed the seeds, my thing as a young person, why is the sower, he need to be fired? Why is he throwing these seeds in all the wrong places where they can't manifest? Because they're seeds that came down here to do the opposite of what Yah stood for. You see? So that's why there was a seed that went in the proper earth, the ground, and multiplied out of those 4 seeds. Now, what is he saying? He's speaking to the multitude of parable. And I'm like, Father, that's a kingdom orchestrated position. You just brought the kingdom all the way to the multitude. And I had no idea that the parables broke everything down to the multitude. How heavens had orchestrated it. That was a kingdom plan for the sower to sow the seeds in 4 locations on the earth. And only 1 location was placed in the proper area to multiply. The others, they died out. You see? Let's go to another one. Let's go to another one. Another one would be, which one was that? 13. Did I do that one? Yeah. Let's go to Matthew's. Stick with verse 13. Let's go to verse 33. In Matthew's, chapter 13, and then there's a verse 33. Another parable spoke he unto them. The kingdom of heavens. Woo! What happened that nobody on this earth understand that? You see? The parables was of the kingdom creation right here on the earth. The parables were the kingdom creation right here on the earth. Matthew chapter 13 and verse 33. Another parable he spoke unto them. The kingdom of heavens is like unto. He's telling you how the kingdom is and how the kingdom orchestrated this parable, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal till the whole until the whole was leaning. Verse 34. All these things spoke Yeshua unto the multitude in parables. And without parables spoke he not unto them. Now, this is what's powerful. Now, I, not just with this verse, I really can feel why Yeshua said, blessed is he that see it and believe, but blessed is he that see it not, but yet believe. Blessed is he that understand the word and the parables. Why? Because they pretty much are the same thing. That's why he said, blessed is the one that understand both the parable and the word, because it's the same thing. The parables is bringing the kingdom down. Just as Yeshua said, the kingdom of heavens is at hand. These parables brought the kingdom to the earth so you can understand verse 33. The kingdom of heaven is like unto. Telling you this parable is the example of how heavens orchestrated the example on earth. And this is the reason why many people right today has thrown away the New Testament, has done away with it, and saying that it's no good. Because people don't understand the parables. And I had no idea that many parables exist. Did I see it all the time? Yes. But I didn't know it was that many. And every last one of them I can break down. Why? Because y'all taught me as a young child and either young teenager that something took place before the foundation of the world. And being so this have taken place before the foundation of the world, it was to let me know heavens was the creator of it all, but it was before the foundation of the world. For there is where it is written. Okay? So when you go into the parables will come up with this thing like in Matthew's 13, where it says in verse 33, another parable spoke he unto them. Who was that? Yeshua spoke another parable. And what did he say? The kingdom of heavens is like unto. Do y'all know that's the biggest mystery that has been dropped as a ball onto the earth? Because he's actually telling you what the kingdom is like. So when I'm telling people, oh, he taught me a long time ago what took place before the foundation of the world. Oh, no, he taught me. But listen, look what happened. He's showing us that the parables is the mystery of the kingdom. But what else is he saying? You'll never get it if who the kingdom is, the kingdom was, is not living in you. So it makes sense why they want to throw the Old Testament away. I see why they want to throw it away. Because people thinking that they can go to and fro on this earth and fully deceive people by great numbers, and people loving on them. The whole deception is what everybody loves, without telling no truth and being no light that shine in the midst of spirit and truth. So the parables is actually telling you that the kingdom of heaven is like unto this, meaning the example to this parable is how the kingdom is. So let's go here to Matthew's chapter 20. That's a sad thing too. It really is. It's a sad thing, but like the Father say, we are in that day, and He's bringing the light out of the midst of darkness, not on the edge of darkness, not on the tip of darkness, not on the end of darkness, but out of the midst. Matthew's chapter 20, verse 1. Let's see what it's saying here. And these are parables we're talking about. But the parables is giving you an example of fully what the kingdom is consist of. And if they don't understand the parables, it's because the parables was not given to them through the Ruach HaKodesh. That's why you got so many beliefs and so many denominations, because they take the people away from what is truth. And people don't care if it's truth or if it's not. There's more people who would go the way of that which is not true than that which is. Verse 20, Matthew chapter 20 and let's start with verse 1. And here he says, Yeshua, for the kingdom of heavens is like unto. Do y'all understand what that's saying? What I've been saying to you all for the 7 years about y'all teaching me what took place before the foundation of the world. And here Yah is wanting you to understand what you don't understand. All the time, He's been allowing one to understand the parables through the Holy Spirit that reside within them. And this is why you got all these other people that has done away with truth in the form of spirit and truth and the light. And they're teaching you what they know in darkness. Okay. Verse 20, Matthew's chapter 20, verse 1. For the kingdom of heavens is like unto a man that is an household, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers unto his vineyard. This parable I'm going to break down. I first and foremost want to say to you, the verse 1 is telling you about heavens, how heavens orchestrated it on the earth. So now I can't take it down to the earth and give it to you. I just can't do it. It's not to be done that way. For the kingdom of heavens is like unto a man that is a householder, okay, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers unto his vineyard. So this is somebody that owns a vineyard. He need to hire laborers to work in his vineyard. Okay, this is Yah. And the laborers represent, just like the seeds. The laborers really represent angels from the kingdom. That's really what it represents. And verse 2 said, and when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into the vineyard. He's showing you they were fully aware in the kingdom of their missions. Just like I say to you, know who you are in Yah. 99.9 don't give a rat's behind who they are. They wants to deceive many. They wants to deceive their wives. They want to deceive their husband, their children, their pastor. The pastor wanted to deceive the church, his congregation. They want to deceive their co-workers, their neighbors. Everybody finding room to live a hypocritical life, a hypocrite. But where you know who they are, you can look at them and know, because their actions speak louder than any word that they would say or speak. So here he's showing you here that he is the one that hire laborers. The kingdom of heavens knows who he sent out to labor. He knows. He sent out good angels and he sent out evil angels. But he knows who? The laborer. I mean the householder, which went out early in the morning to hire the laborers into his vineyard. So now we know the householder owns the vineyard. All of these examples is telling you it's like unto the kingdom. It's telling you the kingdom orchestrated it this way. The kingdom designed it this way. This is the power of the end days, y'all. Bringing that light out of the midst of darkness, letting you know who you are, who you come down here to represent. Because it is over. It's over in a way where people thinking, y'all finna play patty cake, bake a man. Y'all finna sit here and beg you and get you to do what he's been trying to get you to do for thousands of years. And you still at the level of your forefathers, but worser. So the parables are set up as the Father and his angels. Okay, y'all? That's what it's talking about. Even in this example here, he's the householder. He goes out early and he hired laborers. And throughout this parable, he's telling you what he's going to give you. He's actually telling you how those that will work and those that will not. He's telling you which angel is good and which is bad. Same thing he told you with the sower, sowing the seed. He's the sower who sowed the seeds. You ain't getting it. These are kingdom mysteries that still have not been able to be understood by those that's out here teaching, preaching, ministering, and instilling in people what they call and say is truth. Okay, so I like that. I like that because that's another another example, another really good example. Let's go to Matthew's chapter 18 again. in Matthew chapter 18, or did I cover this one? I don't think I did. Oh, Matthew chapter 18 and verse 12. Or did I? No, I think I did. I didn't go to Luke. That's what I supposed to do. Matthew chapter 18 and verse 21. Okay, we did. Okay, Matthew chapter 18 and verse 21. Listen to this. Let's start with verse 22. And Yeshua said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but till 7 times 7. When he told him how many times must he forgive his brethren. This is what Peter was asking Yeshua. How many times? Let's go to verse 1. Matthew chapter 18 and verse 21. Then Peter to him and said, came to him and said, Yeshua, how often shall my brethren sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Yeshua answered unto him, I say unto thee, until 7 times, but until 7. No. And Yeshua said unto him, I say not unto thee 7 times, but until 7 times, 70 times 7. Now watch this here, verse 24. Nope, verse 23. Therefore, now where he finna go? What Yeshua finna do? Yeshua finna take you to the kingdom again. All these parables is actually him taking you all to the kingdom. And you know what? I sat there and I said something. I told y'all that what I believe is all these people who carry these administrative positions and carry these positions as if they heaven's clout and all this and that, there's a liar from the deep part of hell that I never heard of, but the deepest of the deep of it, of the lake of fire. Because they are teaching people so many things outside, all the way across around the corner and somewhere north and somewhere south, just teaching people whatever they can give them to deceive them in such a critical time as this. Now, here go Peter sitting here asking him, how many times must we forgive our brethren that sins against us? In verse 22, Yeshua said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Now watch this here. Watch 23. Therefore, watch this. Therefore is the kingdom of heavens like unto. See, he bringing the kingdom down to the earth in parables so people can get it. And they still don't get it. He said in 23, therefore the kingdom of heavens like unto a certain king, which would take account of his servant. Verse 24, and when he has begun to reckon, one was brought unto him, which owed him 10,000 talents. Okay, now this is the kingdom, y'all. This example. Now, what would make Yeshua strictly tell Peter that you're supposed to forgive them 70 times 7? Peter asking him, how many times must we forgive our brethren that has sinned against us? What a lot of people don't understand, what Peter is asking him is not for those that's on the outside of the body. It's for those that's on the inside that are your brothers in the body of oneness. See, a lot, 99.9 wouldn't even grip that because they don't know no better. Peter is asking a question against, shall my brother sin against me? and forgive him. Peter said 7 times? No. Yeshua said in verse 22, no, but 70 times 7. Why? Because this is your brother in the body of Hamashiach. Okay. Verse 23, therefore is the kingdom of heaven like unto. See, there go. All this time, Yeshua was bringing the kingdom down to the level of flesh. And I'm sitting here thinking of that right now. All them parables bringing the kingdom down to the level of the flesh. And they still missed it. And then he began to say in 24, and when he had begun to reckon, one brought unto him which owed him 10,000 talents. Okay, verse 25. But for as much as he had to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children, and all that he had, and payment to be made. Now, hear this individual, okay? And when he had reckoned, one was brought unto him which owed him 10. He's showing you a brother that had one, or an individual that had one that had owed him. And he had them, he in verse 25, but as much as he had not paid, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and his children and all that he had, and payment to be made. This servant wanted this brethren to pay him what he owed him. And here is the example of 23, Matthew 18 and 23, where Yeshua is giving him what the kingdom of heaven is like unto in a situation. He's bringing the kingdom down in this situation so that he could see how the kingdom deal with this sort of situation. And in this one here, the servant in verse 26, it says, the servant therefore fell down and worshiped him, saying, Lord, have patience. He wanted Yah to have patience with him when he didn't have patience with his brother. So what is the kingdom likened to telling us? If you don't have that type of forgiveness for your brethren, don't think that Yah should have that same forgiveness for you. That's what verse 23 is saying. Therefore is the kingdom of heavens like unto this. It's a parable he's giving Peter. Since Peter gonna come to him and say, how many times must we forgive our brethren? Because you know what it was about, y'all? The reason why he says 70 times 7 is because if you all are in a oneness in the body of Hamashiach, okay, you all are in the same oneness. Okay, now if he sinned against you, by him being in that oneness, he should feel the impact of the fact that we are in the same boat. Okay, but what he was telling him, he was making sure you see where it says brother, so you understand they are in this setting as brothering. They could have said, how many times must we forgive one? No, that's not what he's asking. Peter was speaking of his 12 disciples, his brothers. That was the 12 disciples. And here in this parable, in verse 23, he says, therefore the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king. Who is the king? The Most High Yah, which would take account of his servant. That's the king. He's telling you, how do you know that, Deborah? Because it said, heavens is like unto this. Ooh, that's what it's all about, y'all. Heavens is like unto this. And then he spilled out the parables. And the parables is showing you one that didn't forgive his brethren, but yet wanted y'all to have mercy on him. What was wrong with that? What was wrong with that? He wanted this other man to forgive him. I mean, he did not forgive one that owed him, but he wanted y'all to forgive him. He wanted the Lord to forgive him, but he did not want to give the trade. What is that saying? That was the opposite. That was the opposite of a brothering, because he didn't forgive his brethren. You see? So he's showing them a parable of how heaven is likened to this. One that don't know how to forgive his brethren can't look for me, which is he the king in the kingdom, to forgive him, because he don't belong. He don't belong because he couldn't forgive his brethren and give him time to pay, but he expect to be forgiven by the king, by the king. He wanted him to forgive him, but he couldn't forgive one that asked him to forgive him and give him time. He couldn't give him mercy and grace, but he feel that, oh, surely Yah would give him grace and mercy. You see? So that tells you what kind of seed, what kind of angel was that? The Father is telling you the kingdom of heaven is like that. I know which angel is which. But Peter, you speaking of your brethren, make sure you forgive your brethren. Because this one here who didn't forgive his brethren, he's from a different seed. He's a different angel. You see? So when you read these parables and you don't have the Ruach to really crack the code and give you the mystery of it, I can see now, and I'm going to be honest with you, I can see why they would throw away the New Testament. I can see why now. Because they don't understand the parables, nor the mystery that rests therein, the parables. Now that makes a lot of sense. I mean, like a whole lot of sense. Okay? Let's go to the book of Luke. No, I can't. Yeah, let's go to the book of Luke. Luke 15. We're talking about these parables. The parables today, the Father told me that they hold more in it than was ever been told. And that's why I feel so compelled to cover the parables. So when I go into Luke chapter 15 and verse 3 through 4, Luke chapter 15, verse 3 through 4, and it says in verse 3, and he spoke unto this parable unto them. Okay. What man of you have 100 sheep? If he lose one of them, do it not leave the 99 and 9 in the wilderness and go after that which is lost until he find it. Right there. Guess what that is? That's the kingdom, y'all. That's the kingdom. That is giving you the answer. That is giving you something you never had before. And I can tell you, it went over your head. Let's go over it again. Luke chapter 15. Let's go on up to verse 1. In the Luke chapter 15 and verse 1, Then drew near unto him all the publicans and sinners for to hear him. And the Pharisees and scribes murmured, saying, This man receiveth sinners and eat with them. Verse 3, and he spoke this parable unto them. What man of you have 100 sheep? If he lost one of them, do it not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after that which is lost until he find it. That's the kingdom, y'all. That's a message in a parable to these individuals who were sinners. And the parables was given also to the Pharisees and the scribes, actually giving them the parable of the kingdom. What do you mean, Deborah? All you have to do is see where it says that he will leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after that which was lost until he find it, as if that the purpose of leaving all of everything else to go down to redeem the lost. That's the example of the kingdom. It is a total example of the kingdom. That's what that is. It's a matter of fact, it's a really good example of the kingdom, showing you right here. He's asking them the question, but as you see the question, he's bringing the kingdom down. And where you knew the kingdom was coming down in this parable was when you see he says, what man of you have 99 sheep? You see what that parable representing? You see the sheep? He ain't saying sheep, goats, and this. He's saying sheep. He ain't saying goats. He's saying sheep. Because that's the only one going back to eternal. It's the sheep that came down here and got lost. They're the only one that's going to be redeemed back. And he ain't coming back until he have found them and redeemed them back to his bosom. That there is what the Messiah came to do. This verse 4. For what man of you have 100 sheep if he lost one of them, just one out of 100? But guess what that one is? Lost. Where is he lost from? The kingdom. This is how Yah brought the kingdom down in a way that man can understand what heavens is like unto. So that's what the parables were, trying to give you a feel of what the kingdom is like unto. He says here, 99 and 9 in the wilderness, and go after that which was lost. What did Yeshua say he come for? That which was lost. Was the mission succeed? It couldn't do it had to. Why? Until they have completed it. Death, burial, and resurrection. Bring them back home. The lost. So it says in verse 5, and when he has found it, he laid it on his shoulders and rejoiced. And even, you know what? It even talk about in the other parables of how the angels in heaven is rejoicing over the one. Because he was lost. And now he's found. That's the kingdom, y'all. That's heaven's whose son who slaughtered the lamb before the foundation of the world, who created his only begotten son to come down with the Son of Man to complete this mission, to complete the mission to come after the lost and redeem them back. But you can't come back until you have found them. That's heaven, y'all. That's not earth. But he had to bring you down to the earth in the way that earth is for you to get what heavens had ordered. So the parables are the order of the kingdom on the earth. And this is why he say it's a greater blessing to individuals who's able to understand the word and the parables, because it takes you to be extra blessed to understand the both. And that's why I say today, not as a dead prophet, but a living one, they do not see the kingdom on the earth. But didn't Yeshua say it? His whole mission when he started his ministry, the kingdom of heavens is at hand. It's at hand. Hand is at hand. Even Yah himself suffered it to come down in parables to those who could not see and those who could not hear. Why? His will had to be done. Whether you seen it or you heard it. And that's something I'm trying to get y'all to understand in this midnight hour. Yah is not bending over backwards and flipping for you to do what's right. He's giving you, like I told my son, he's giving you 5 years with this girl. All this that you knew about the Most High Yah, that should have been spilt in her heart. And if you didn't do it then, that's on you. Because that's a blessing for him to have given you 5 years, 5 long years. You see? And if you get in it knowing that out of them 5 years, you didn't do your part, or she didn't do her part, or you was off balanced with each other spiritual, that's on you. Okay. But here is another this is another parable of Yah explaining to, not he ain't explaining, he's just correcting the Pharisees and the scribes, the publicans and the sinners, y'all. He's saying this to the sinners. Now, you know they ain't gonna get it. But so if they're not gonna get it, who is it for? You see what I'm saying? Why would you set up all these parables, Father, and call them the kingdom of heavens is at hand? What do you mean? Heavens is like unto this parable. 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 How is it? Let's go to another one. Same chapter, verse 15. Luke chapter 15 and verse 8. And it says, either what woman have 10 pieces of silver? If she lose one piece, do it not light a candle and sweep the house and seek diligently till she find it. He's telling you he is persistent. In that same parables, he felt it was important that he set that parable up in so many ways so you can understand Yah is coming for his lost. He's coming for his lost. Verse 8 is sending you an example of a woman that has 10 pieces of silver. If she loses one piece, she will light a candle and sweep a house and seek diligently until she find that one piece. She had 10. She only lost one. But he just showing you what heaven is like. I'm coming. I'm coming for what is mine. What happened? They can't see it through the parables because they thought the parables wasn't legit. Because through the Ruach do you understand it. You can't understand it without the Ruach. Look at Luke chapter 17. In Luke chapter 17, and I didn't have that one circled. I can't go to that one. Let's go to John. John chapter 10. In John chapter 10, the Gospel of John chapter 10, verse 11. In John chapter 10 and verse 11, it says, I am the good shepherd, and the good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. Now, verse 12, but he that is a hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolves coming, and leaveth the sheep and fleeth. And the wolf catches them and scattered the sheep. What is he saying? Listen to this. Let's go there. We're going to have to bump the Gospel of John chapter 10. We have to bump it up to verse 9. I'm just going to go there. I'm just going to go all the way there. We're going to have to bump it up to verse 6. I have to go there because that's the only way it's going to let me. It ain't going to let me out. It's not going to let me out. It's not going to let me out until I bump it. So the Gospel of John, we at the Gospel of John chapter 10 and verse 6. Now listen to this. This parable spoke Yeshua unto them. I explained to you all many times about how Yeshua did an excellent job. Yeshua's mission was not just to be the blood sacrifice for all the sin of the flesh. See, y'all thought it was for the sin of the spirit. No, it was for the sin of the flesh. Was it for some people? Hebrew Israelite, tribe of Judah, the Greeks, the Hebrew, the Sadducees, the Pharisees? What is it? Who was it for? Yeshua came for all mankind. His purpose was to shed the blood, and the blood had to be the blood of the flesh for all flesh sin. See, a lot of people don't know that. See, he wasn't dying for your spirit. He was dying for the sin of the flesh. That's which Adam couldn't withstand. I mean, not withstand, but yeah. So he died for all man's sin. Whether you the serpent seed or the spiritual seed, it don't matter. He died for all sin. In the what? In the flesh. That's why he had to die and shed the blood of the flesh. Because he was what? Flesh. He was the Son of Man. He was the Son of Man. Okay? So he come to die for the flesh of man. All mankind. Not some, but all. Okay? One thing I'm going to tell y'all that they did that's worse than anything. They denied, even to today. They denied then and they denied now that all that Yeshua said was excellent teaching to reveal the kingdom and the Father unto us. When I think of Yeshua, I think of him dying for all our sins and being the representative of all our fleshly sin and being the flesh that go up on the cross and die for all our sins. But more than that, I also see him as one that hath given us everything we needed to know about he that rules in the kingdom. He did an excellent job, y'all. Yeshua did an excellent job. And hey, if nobody ever give him that, I would definitely say to you all, you lost anyway. It don't matter. You can't give nobody nothing, no way. He did an X, and nobody on the earth can outride what he did. Because he told it all, y'all. Now listen to this. Let's go. The Gospel of John, chapter 10 and verse 6. Here we go. This parable spoke Yeshua unto them, but they understood not. But did it stop him from speaking it? You get what I'm saying? That's how it is for me. Do it stop you from speaking? Do it stop you from coming on here? Do it stop you? No. I might back up a little bit, but I'm going to come back even stronger. Okay? Because what? There's something greater in me than me and the flesh on this devil platform. And that alone show me how to pull in, pull out, but pull back in. And if you're going to pull out forever, it's still going to be me pulling you out. Okay? So here in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 6, this parable spoke Yeshua unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spoke unto them. Now you see this? This is the prime example I was sitting here telling y'all. I can't see that. I cannot see Yeshua saying something that I do not understand. I can't. I don't know who y'all are. I can't. I understand it all. Everything he says, I understand it all. Want me to tell you how well I understand? I can tell you when Yeshua is speaking. I can tell you when the Son of Yah is speaking. And I can tell you when they're speaking in the oneness. And I give Yeshua the prompts. Right here, he's getting ready to speak this parable, even though, now see, that's what I'm saying to y'all. Y'all cannot see, even though they're not going to understand. Is he going to stop him from doing it? No, because he got a mission on him, y'all. He's got a mission to do. He's on a mission from the kingdom. Now watch what he says. Then said Yeshua unto them again, verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. I am the door of the sheep. Verse 8, all that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. Do you think that this parable is talking about the earth, or is it talking about how the kingdom orchestrated it? Let's go again. Verse 7. Yeshua said unto them again, verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. But the sheep did not hear them. Who were them? They were thieves and robbers. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. Verse 10, the thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. Verse 11, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. Verse 12, but he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep and flee, and the wolves catches them and scatter the sheep. Now, who is this here? He's setting the example of how it is in the heavens, in this whole thing on the earth. He's giving you the whole way it's going to pan out. It's going, even when he tells you in the verse 12, and he that is an hireling. Who is that hireling? Heavens. That's an angel, something coming from heavens, an angel coming from heavens playing this role. And not the shepherd. He's not the shepherd. Whose own the sheep are not. He don't own the sheep. Whose own the sheep are not. But he's coming and not the shepherd. Seeth the wolves coming and leave the sheep and flee, and the wolves catch them and scatter the sheep. Verse 13, and the hireling flee, because he is a hireling, and care not for the sheep. That's a prime example even into today. People don't give a rat's behind about nothing that they're saying to people, doing to people, deceiving people, leading them. What else did he say? Destroying them, killing, all these things. Something else will lead the sheep and scatter them. And they are not what he said he is. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth life. Give it his life for the sheep. You see? So he's letting you know who's who and how that's going to pan out from the kingdom. But he's setting it up in a parable. Now, this parable he's giving this parable. I don't know if it's to the parable he's spoken to them by, and not, no, they didn't understand. He said they didn't understand. So the parables for who? The multitude, not the disciples. This was given to them, and they still didn't understand. But this is a prime example. He gave them the whole lowdown about the sheep and who's the shepherd, being the good shepherd, separate from the evil shepherd, in a sense, the hireling, and that was not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not. Seeth the wolves coming and lead the sheep and leadeth the sheep and fled, and the wolves scattered them and scattered the sheep. That's heavens, y'all, orchestrating it on earth. Could the multitude get it? No. He told you straight up, they ain't gonna get it. So these parables were set not for the people to get them. Why? Why would you think that the parables, all these parables, talking about the kingdom of heavens is like this, all these parables that the kingdom set up, and Yeshua spoke on all these parables, what was the purpose? The parables were said and spoken to the multitude. Okay? But it was for those that received the Ruach HaKodesh, because they were the only one that can understand the parables. But they couldn't understand the parables if they did not receive the Holy Spirit. They can't receive the Holy Spirit. You can't understand the parables. So do you understand why the Christians cannot understand nothing that they reading in the New Testament? They can't, because they don't understand the parables. The parables is set the way the kingdom orchestrated things on the earth. And even Yeshua said to them in verse 6, this parable spoke Yeshua unto them, but they understood not that things they were which he spoke unto them. They understood not. But why would you waste your time giving them all them parables? You see, who really was the parables for? Because the parables spoke of the kingdom. The parables were about the kingdom. You see, so there's something even today that Yah is saying. He's saying something today regarding the parables, you guys. Let me go to Luke chapter 12. The parables is the mystery of the kingdom. And you know what? When he said, we down here on the earth, like we in dumb city, like we don't know nothing. But when I'm sitting here thinking about these parables and how Yeshua was telling them they wouldn't know. But the parables today is the reason why they couldn't know until they received the Ruach HaKodesh. So if people don't, like I told you before, if you don't have the Holy Spirit, it's no need in acting like a hypocrite. But is it going to change people? No. They're going to continue to act it and play it all for what it's worth until the eternal destiny is before them. And it's not just the eternal destiny as far as, let me not say eternal, that destiny, but before that, even before they get up out of here, they still is not going to own up. They're going to live it the way they portrayed it. Hypocrite. In Luke chapter 12, verse 42. In Luke chapter 12, verse 42, it says, but woe unto you, Pharisees, for ye tithe mint and rule and all manner of herbs and pass over judgment and the give of Yah. This ought ye be to have done and not leave the others undone. I don't know what that is. No, that's not the parables. Wait a minute. Where am I? I'm in the wrong page. That's right. I'm over here in 11. I know I'm about to say, I know I wrote this. I know I don't know where it's at, but okay, here we go, y'all. I'm sorry about that. I was way on the other side on verse chapter 11. So in Luke chapter 12 and verse 42, it says, and Yah said, who then is, let me see if this is a part of it. Oh, yeah, 41. I got to go back to 41. Luke chapter 12, verse 41. Then Peter said unto Yeshua, speak thou this parable unto us, or even to all. And Yeshua said, who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them portion of meat in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. So he's given Peter the example of how heavens is looking at this here. He's sitting here telling Peter, he says, speaketh thou this parable unto us, or even to all. This is what Peter said. And Yah said, and Yeshua said, who then is that faithful and wise servant, steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season? Blessed is the servant whom his Lord, when he come, find so doing. verse 44. Oh, of a truth, I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he has. That's a parable he's given Peter to discern the time that Yah has prepared. He's given him what he's going to be doing. He's telling him this is where it's going to lead to. The steward, a faithful and wise steward. He's given him the example of when it really and when Yah, when they get the Holy Spirit, when Peter get the Holy Spirit, he's going to be the faithful and wise servant whom the Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season. Blessed is the servant whom his Lord will, when he come, shall find so doing. And then verse 44, of a truth, I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he has. You see, here he's given Peter this parable. And in this parable, he's given Peter an example really of how Yah has really set it up. And he set it up as a faithful and a wise a steward, a ruler over, you see. And then it says also, and he's a blessed servant, okay? And when he come, he will find, he will come, when he comes, shall find so doing. This here, he's letting Peter actually know that this is really representing you from the kingdom. This is talking about you, Peter, from the kingdom. Did Peter get it? No. Peter didn't understand nothing he was saying. Peter could not understand nothing he was saying. You know how Peter said that he would die with him and so on? Peter was just saying he didn't want them to take his life when Yeshua was saying that he must go and they would come after him. Peter was saying that, no, I would die with you, because he said he wasn't going to let them take his life. But when it came down to really understanding the parables, they didn't know him. They didn't understand him. Peter didn't know he was talking about him and how the heavens has this here set up in this parable. Speak thou this parable unto us, or even to all. This was Peter was saying to him. And then then Yeshua said, who then is that faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household? See, Peter didn't know what he was saying. So it wasn't so much that the multitude didn't know. Peter and them didn't know what the parables were saying either. So just imagine today, blessing is those who understand the word and the parables. Why? Because those are the ones who have the Ruach HaKodesh in them. So it makes a lot of sense why we have a lot of denominations and religion and belief and those who do cut out of the New Testament. They have every right, because they understand not the parables. The parables is heaven's example on earth, how it is in heavens. That's why the word says like unto the kingdom of heaven. That's what it's telling you. The parable is spoken just like that, like unto the kingdom of heaven. That's how the parables are put out. And the parables cannot be under, and you yourself, when you start to, if you go in and you find, let's say 15 parables, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. You might not understand what I'm saying now, but if you just try it, pull out you 15 parables, and right next to them parables, you're going to see heavens is like unto. So what is it saying? It wants you to understand the level of heaven and how heaven have it set on earth. So this is why people don't want to take the New Testament, because they don't understand that. Just like they don't want Paul. When they don't understand it, they execute Paul. And they do away with the New Testament. Even a lot of people who been swinging the Hebrew Israelite movement. You were swinging it so deep and so bad, especially when Paul was telling women not to speak. Now, because this is showing you how they only can be in, they only can accept that which make them feel that they know truth. They don't care if they find it to be a lie, that they taught the multitude the lie or the deception. They don't care. They are not going to come down and make it right. They're not going to, because it's not in them to do that. Okay? Because they didn't have the Ruach to take you there. So they ain't going to have the Ruach to bring you away from there. So you just lost. Really, seriously, you just out there. So the fig tree, Luke 13 and 6. In Luke 13 and verse 6. Watch this here. Luke 13 and verse 6. He spoke also this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came and sought fruit thereon and found none. Look at that parable. The fig tree. He planted a fig tree in his vineyard, but when he went out to salt the fruit from it, he found none. Verse 7, then said he until the dressers of the vineyard, behold, these 3 years I come seeking fruit on this fig tree and find none. Cut it down. What is it? Why crumbled it the ground. Verse 8, and he answered and said unto him, Lord, let it alone this year also, till I shall dig about it and dug up. And if it bear fruit, well, and if not, then after thou shalt cut it down. See, this is an example of the sower sowing the seeds. Remember, in all the wrong places, the sower sowing the seed. Here, this here fig tree was sown. 3 years, it didn't produce anything. That's okay. That's likened to also when Sister Deborah is saying, how is it so many people are following so many people on these platforms? It is off the chain. People never knew that you were supposed to get as much food of spirit and truth in your book backpack, so much to the point where you're able to go out to the highways and byways and now do your purpose. But people find it year after 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 just years of being on this devil platform and ain't getting no food for their spirit. Oh yes, you might think that since they've been on here 18 years, they get a lot of food. Yeah, they getting a lot of food. You have to understand there's 2 types of food for the flesh and food for the spirit. Totally different. And the food for the flesh will feed the flesh. And the food for the spirit will feed the spirit. But I can guarantee you, the food for the flesh is not the same as the food for the spirit. Total different as hell of the lake of fire as there is the eternal kingdom in heaven. That's how far distance these platforms are when they teaching and preaching. And they don't care. Because they know that there's 2 trees, and the 2 trees, they know that there's 2 lanes that people can run in. And they don't look at the idea that they are leading the multitude into the broad gate. They look at it as they want to follow me, that's on them. That's them following me. It ain't my fault. That's how they see it. A lot of people don't know it. I've been on here and I've been an alcohol all my life, and I've been on here teaching them, and they ain't bothered by it. That's why so many have all this chaos in these churches. Is because they've been doing it for so long till it become the norm for them. This is what people cater to. So here with the parables, let me just go on and break it down as far as the fig tree. He looked as if he invested the tree and the tree didn't show no good after 3 years. So one thinking that, okay, let me dig it up and replant it, and maybe within that time it'll grow within the year. It's not, because the Lord of the vineyard, when he showed up, guess what? That fig should have been on that tree. But it worked. 3 years he gave them. No tree, no fruit. So digging it up, replanting it, let it alone this year also till I shall dig about it and dug it. And if it bear fruit, well, and if not, then after that, thou shalt cut it down. And y'all know what it means when it says cut it down. You know, the wheat and the tare. Take the wheat, the tare out, cut it down, and burn it. You see? So here is also another example of how the kingdom have already orchestrated how we as the people. When you're looking at the parables, the fig represent the angels. Okay? The planet in the vineyard. The vineyard is showing you they were in the proper place. Okay? So it had no reason for the spirit of those individuals, those angels that came down. It was no reason for them to have not produced in the vineyard. The vineyard was the right place. Remember, Yeshua told them, pray to the Father that he send more laborers in the vineyard. Okay, so the figs that's in the vineyard being planted and being there for that length of time, truly the owner, when he come, was to be the Father. When he come, there should be some fruit on that tree, but it was not. When that's how the kingdom has orchestrated everything. We thinking, and I ain't gonna say we, people thinking that he's not coming. He's not going to check up on what you have done, what you are doing. Why are you standing around as if you ain't got nothing to do? That's the mindset of people today. They bash the ones that he got trying to do. Are we perfect? No. Are we going to reach perfection? No, not until he get us over in Mount Zion. And if he don't get us there, at least we'll make it to the other side. But I will say this parable here is talking about the fig tree. The fig tree is also a representative of the angel that came down, planted in the right soil, planted in the vineyard. That means he had a chance. He had everything he need. And even though he had everything he need, he didn't produce fruit. So was he the good one, angel that came down, or the bad one? He was the bad one. Because he had, when the one that owns the vineyard come, there should have been something on that tree after 3 years. And it hadn't produced anything in 3 years. And I say unto you, if you go to sleep tonight and never wake up, what could you say to the Father about what you did with the purpose that you say he put in you? He won't even need to ask you, because you wouldn't even have an answer. He already got the answer. It is written. It is already written. So what I learned, and it's been on me for a couple of weeks, And I wanted to read all the parables, but there were so many. But what I liked about it, it was the kingdom. It was the kingdom coming down to the earth to give humans a glimpse of what heavens is like unto. And he did an excellent job. Excellent job. Can't nobody do it better than that. All those parables were giving us an insight of the king. And you know what? We can't ask for nothing better than that. Is to know what the ways of the kingdom and how it has prepared us on the earth, to know how Yah prepared things from the kingdom. And rest assured, we're only, all the parables is only talking about angels. That's it. The parables are telling you about the angels. When you speak of the 10 virgins, you notice they all came down. 5 with and 5 without. One didn't have it because that's how he came down here. And one that did had didn't even really have the ability to grip that this is not something that you can come down here and get. Because they sunned the other 5 and telling them to go get your own. Because if I give you something, I want it. Now, baby, you ain't had, it ain't nothing you came down here with. You came down here with that already in you. That angel came down with it already in them. To where the other angels, they didn't have as what the other angel had. And I know it sounds, no, I ain't gonna say it might sound, but because it's all look good to me. Because who can tell the Father what to do with what is his? He said, I am the potter of the clay. I mold one to righteous and one to unrighteous, one to honor and one to dishonor. Who are you to tell the Most High Yah what to do with what is his? When people start to grip that, which they never will because it's over. But I'm going to tell you all, if you go into those parables and read you 10 to 15 parables, it'll show you that, hey, it'll speak for itself. It'll show you how. It was the kingdom. The parables was talking about the kingdom. But what about giving it to the multitude? What they going to do with it? Because when the Ruach, it was time for the Ruach to come, that was the way that everything that they did not understand will be open unto them by the Ruach. And many of you all really believe that it doesn't take all of that. And maybe it don't take all of that to you because you might not be who you think you are. Okay. But I will say this. Many are called, but few are chosen. How is it that many is called? But what I believe he's saying, many are called, like all the seeds were called to come down to the earth. 4 seeds: stony ground, thorns, wayside, and the soil. Only 1 seed hit the right soil to produce. The other ones, they died out. You see? It was said that the seeds are the word. When you understand who the word is, then you'll understand what it means regarding the seed. I've heard today 3 different men try to teach Genesis in a way that's so dark. Well-educated people. And I'm like saying, man, you teaching this here thing about Genesis said, this one man say in Genesis chapter 1, the word Jesus is seen in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, 9 times. How could that be? How could Jesus be in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 alone, 9 times? What he does is he was only teaching Hebrew. That's what he was doing. He was teaching Hebrew. But let me explain something to you all. With Sister Deborah, when I first got on YouTube, everybody was speaking. They was talking Hebrew this, Hebrew this. You need to know Hebrew. You need to learn Hebrew. You need to learn Greek. You need to learn Greek. You need to learn Greek. You need to learn Hebrew. And then all of a sudden, Greek was overriding Hebrew. And I'm like, when it all said and done, the Spirit had to speak to me because I was confused. What are they talking about? He had to speak to me. He said, when they finish learning it, Deborah, they still won't know me. When they finish learning, they still ain't gonna know me. He said the Ruach would come and would teach you all things. If the Ruach don't find time in you, around you, to learn Hebrew and Greek, he ain't gonna teach it. Why? He knows that does not redeem you. That does not save you. That does not deliver you. It's already written in the kingdom. While everybody down on the earth clowning, thinking the way to Yah is the way that they feel, they think, they see the only way. Some of them even thinking, if I wear my fringes, truly I'm in there. Some of them even saying, if I have 5 wives, truly that make me a man of Yah. I know y'all might not believe it, but that's the mindset. They're saying everything that satisfies the outside of a man, which is their flesh, is what makes them have a relationship with a spiritual Yah. That's deep to me, because I like to know, me wrapping my head, what does that has to do with Yah? What does that have to do? And then they turn around and they try to get you to see all these pictures for back in history. These women back in the history, the way people are even wearing their dreads, if you look at these people, they had their hair fixed. They looked like they had dreads all over the place, but they had it looking nice. When you look at Bob Marley, even his was out of it just was very, but men began to imitate his dreads and look like him, and like many of them. But just think, Bob Marley's father was European. He was European. But yet he was trying to wear his hair into locks. It might not be in the locks that he was really understanding of the biblical times, not the biblical times, but the time of old back in the days. But if you really, that's one thing I noticed. I said, why is it even the dress code that they got these women today wearing in the Hebrew Israelite movement, it does not match the dress code back in Israel. We had a land floating with milk and honey. We had the best of everything. How is it we today think that we have awakened and we feel that we're supposed to just look like anything and everything, and then tell people this is the way you should? You shouldn't wear jewelry. You should keep your head wrapped. You should wear fringes. And then they put all this jewelry, but it's okay for them to wear all this jewelry that they make. And what do they carve on the jewelry? The word Yah. What did he say? Don't idol anything that's wood and gold and silver. Don't put him in that. He already said that, y'all. But do you think about with people, these Hebrew Israelites, they put that stuff on there and they just go on by their lonesome believing that in their eyes they are clean. In all their eye, they are clean. And don't even understand Father looking at it and say, Deborah, look, I check out that spirit. And they don't precept that. Because it's showing you that Yah is about the angels in which he sent down. That's who he's about. The lost angels returning. Many of the parables talks of that, even to the 10 virgins. 5 of them made it back. But when you understand they didn't make it back based on anything that they done, that they said, they made it back because it was written before they left. That's another power punch that nobody will accept. You know why? Because they can't get the glory out of it. Only one can get it is the Father. They can't get the honor out of it. Nobody can get it but the Father. You see, they can't get the praise. They can't write a book on it. They can't teach it. Because heavens has it already wrote in and wrote out. And it is finished. So Sister Deborah, I hope you got something out of the parables, because I did 2 weeks ago. And I really went a little deeper when I was in my study. And the part that I wasn't able to really expound on was the fact that the parable was speaking of the kingdom all the time. And how like unto the kingdom as it is on the earth. It gave us an ideal of knowing how the kingdom had set it up. And they missed the parables. They couldn't grip the word, but they missed even the parables. So Sister Deborah, say I appreciate each and every last one of you tuning in, and I will be back. Shalom and shalom.